Manchester United takeover plans in place as Sheikh Jassim can trigger Sir Jim Ratcliffe's exit. Yes, what is that all about? Sheikh Jassim could return to Manchester United to bid a table in a month due to a clause in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's agreement with the Glazers. We have numerous reports. I know what you're thinking. That's why we're running a poll, but we have a massive show for you today. We're going to discuss this cool and composed. We're also going to talk about the latest Manchester United transfer news. Cherki Talks begin. His agent is talking to Manchester United. We're going to talk about Real Madrid to bid for the ex-Manchester United wingback Alvaro Fernandez. Cunha to Manchester United, almost done deal. We're going to talk about that in details. The LAP plus. What does plus mean? These Gyökeres, as we know that Amorim favors Gyökeres. Edison plus, Wharton plus, many more, and outs. Xerxes 2 links away from Manchester United Italian League, Højlund to Italy, and Rashford to Barcelona. This is Manchester United transfer news and gossip and all that paper talks with Mick Ruby and Mark, the M&M show. Buckle up, but please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Let's get right into the show. Let's go.
Okay,
Let's go. Okay, people, we are back. The MMM show and the latest, what we're going to talk about, the Sheikh Jassim reports. We have Mark in the house. This is Mick Ruby. This is Mark. How you doing, Mark? I haven't seen you for ages. How you doing? Chilling.
I've been good, working hard. The different times.
Work hard for the money.
Gotta work hard for the money.
Same as this season, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is working hard to sort of cut money. And how do you feel? It's been one shamble after another. Reports saying there's not going to be an open bus stop if we win on next week, Europa League. There's going to be a barbecue instead. Ruben Amorim's paying for the tickets for the backroom stuff. We are bloody broke.
We're not broke, right? Sir Jim Ratcliffe just cutting costs how he see fit. And let me be honest, this is not how a big club moves. And these was one of the things we were terrified about when Sir Jim Ratcliffe wanted to have this, how they call this, he wanted this vanity project at Man United, And traditionally all clubs is pay for the staff, and the backroom staff and player and think to travel to finals when the club make a final. These is bonuses that all clubs, even Bournemouth and Brighton and Crystal Palace.
I hear you. I hear you.
For their fans to go to the FA Cup final, for their club workers and employees.
I hear you.
Man United, since Sir Jim come in, apparently we are the brokest club in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People say that. People might hate me for saying this. I thought the Glazers was bad, but this guy has to be worse because even the Glazers.
Yeah, but those two together in combination, that is the worst that could happen to this club. If you look in the rearview mirror at the moment, you saw that Sheikh Jassim bid is actually real. There's numerous reports coming out today, which we are going to discuss, people. But big up for everyone that's tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button. Let us get to minimum 100 likes. So if we just look back in the rearview mirror, we all see it, we all know it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe even came out to say that I don't even know if Sheikh Jassim is real. But he made a deal, he wanted to buy 69, 50, 51%. And then he made a deal because at the end of the day, Glazers were so bust, they were desperate for cash. So what they did was a quick loan, he gave them 1 billion, 1.2 billion, and that went to their own pockets. And they said, here you go, here's the keys, 27%. And deal with it. You take a charge of the footballing operation. And the strategical review has been just looking at how we cut costs, right? Yeah. It's been shambolic, 1 year in the, finishing 16th in the league, even 17th. And this, it's not Ruben Amorim's fault. This is coming down to above, in my opinion. Poor planning,
100%.
poor execution, penny pinching everywhere. And no wonder fans are like fed up, to be honest, right? And if you look at why the team is not performing, well, hang on a second. Have you ever joined a company where the culture is so bad? Even if you walk into the coffee machine just to grab a coffee, people talk. And this trickles down all the way from the top down to the bottom to the players and, the boot washers and collectors and jersey washers and everything else, like, from the boardroom to the mailroom in certain sense. But we all know that. We all know that. And then you see the vanity project, Mark. The vanity project is, well, we're going to build a new stadium. That was quickly announced, but we don't really know when. Maybe in 2030, 2031. But who's going to pay for that stadium? Glazers will not pay one single penny. He cannot pay anything without seeking for sponsorship or some investors, So we need to make Champions League year in, year out. And then we see the transfer policy plans. We're not going to buy the Mbappes. We're going to buy the upcoming Mbappes. My question is, Mark, we are looking at, the sector sporting director, Dan Ashwood. They appointed the technical director to give him dual roles. Jason Wilcox is now technical director / sporting director. That's penny pinching as well, isn't it? And in a certain sense, his ID for talent is to go for the Premier League proven Liam Delap. He's pushing for Liam Delap. Well, Ruben Amorim said, no. I know what I want. I need a serious serial killer that can give us goals, right? Cunha is definitely a Ruben Amorim influence, but Delap is what I'm hearing is Jason Wilcox, because Jason managed him at Man City Academy and Southampton and whatever he's been.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of things about some of the links, including Cunha. I thought Cunha was also spearheaded by Wilcox, to be fair, because Wilcox ID is Premier League proven. There's also close links to Wharton. Adam Wharton is also
Yeah,
being
we're
heavily
going to talk
linked.
about that one. Yeah.
And I mean, if we talk about those, just those three for the mention in this current moment, I think, yeah, the prices of those players is very interesting.
Ridiculous.
That's like
Right.
about 220 million pounds that we're already looking to spend, and that's three players alone. I'm not sold on Cunha for 60 million pounds. I mean, I've seen Adam Morton. He's as good as he was last season, if not even better this
Yeah, he's the
season.
guy.
So I mean, while I don't think 100 million is ideal, maybe we pay 60 million for him. I could be comfortable with that. Yeah, I know Ruben Amorim has been, ever since he's seen Cherki twice, he's been, this is a guy that I could use in the number 10 role. He would suit me fine. Our direct replacement for Pedro Gonzalez, and I think that's a player that we definitely should be looking at as well. But I'll let you go on into the other the talks as we go, and we'll continue.
Yeah, big up, Mark. Anyway, people, for tuning in, don't forget to like that like button, finger it right now. What we're going to talk about, we're going to start with the Sheikh Jassim stories that's floating around. We're going to talk about Ryan Cherki, the latest transfer news regarding agents in talk with Man United. For Ryan Cherki, Real Madrid, we're going to talk about Alvaro Fernandez. Real Madrid wants to make a bid for him. Cunha to Manchester United apparently seems to be a done deal already. They wrapped it up, just waiting for the announcement. And we're going to talk about the Delap plus Edison plus Wharton plus Gyökeres and the outs. Mark, let's start right into the stories, right? There's two separate stories that I want to talk about. Alex Turk from the Express UK wrote earlier that Man United takeover plans in place as Sheikh Jassim can trigger Sir Jim Ratcliffe's exit. Sheikh Jassim could return to Man United takeover table in months due to a clause in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's agreement with the Glazers. What does this mean? Have you read this article? What is your thoughts? If not, let me just read through this article. What's your choice?
I read it, but for those watching who have not seen it, maybe I should give them a little bit of briefing on what's
Okay,
the key
so it
points.
goes like this: Manchester United owners of the and the Glazers family will soon obtain the power to activate the drag along rights. If fresh full takeover interest emerges from a third party, it opens up the door for Sheikh Jassim to put his money where his mouth is and compete and compel Sir Jim Ratcliffe to sell his shares, unless Ineos Kingpin can match the offer. What it comes down to, when they actually came to an agreement, they put an 18 months clause contract that the share price is $32 per share, and he's got 18 months. After this, apparently it's open up now in, I think it's September by memory. Anyone can come in and make sort of a bid, like to buy out, the more than $32 per share, right? We're going to talk about the second story as well. Reports in December claimed that Qatari bidder still has plans in place to pursue a full takeover of Manchester United down the line. He's sitting there, apparently, to some reports, observing, waiting, and everyone can see that we don't have money at the moment. The stadium, we're bleeding cash. Ratcliffe cannot put in more money. The Glazers took the 1.2 billion, put in their own pocket, and they're not going to sort of invest any further into the club. Yeah. So we've spoken about this in length so many times on this stream as well, that I see this being plausible. However, we are just reporting on the news, and we are applying our logic and reasoning, looking at the finances, looking at, they want to build a new stadium within 6 years. Where's the money going to come from? I did a video to say that in this dying rate, we're going to go bankrupt. So what is your thoughts and feelings first before we go to the panel?
Well, I don't want to get overly excited about it. And I would say to everyone, don't jump for joy in this current moment, because there's still a lot of things and possibilities and complications that could happen. But, if this is a real deal situation, if this clause exists, and if Sheikh Jassim, Sheikh Jassim is very much still interested in the club, I would say to everyone, maybe we should start flying Qatari flags. Because realistically, we need to say SOS, save our souls, Man United.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it develops over the next couple of months. I don't want to speculate too much. In my opinion, I would welcome it, because a full sale means debt clear. Yeah, this partial situation was never going to be a good situation. It was always going to be a difficult situation, and 100%. I think it was never going to work.
Yeah, apparently, it was undermined by British media. Ratcliffe came out and gloated after he won the bid to say that, I don't know if he exists, but the report saying that he does exist. And the author, Chris Blackhurst, he's got great connections within the club and with Sheikh Jassim and everything. He's been following this very closely. He wrote the book, The World's Biggest Cash Machine, describing the discussion, about how Glazers has robbed Manchester United and everything else. He's gone into the details to say that, Qatari businessman Sheikh Jassim has battled with Sir Jim Ratcliffe to take over Manchester United, and he lost in February 2024. There was a verbal agreement between him and the Glazers, 100%. That's been confirmed. But Glazers, for some reason, decided they want to have the quick cash and took the bait from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. That thought, well, I can have a little bit of a control, 27.8%. So they came to this agreement. But now we're seeing that it's not enough. We're bleeding cash. We are in debt, and they can't solve the debt whatsoever. The debt is rising. Ratcliffe is trying to cut costs in order to sort of make this machine work year by year. But eventually the bubble will burst. We are so desperate to make Champions League. But if we don't win, it's going to be dire, 100%. But according to this author, according to this report as well, that he's still is following this monitoring, according to the reports, and are willing still. This is coming through also through Talk Sports as well, but this is the author that said that, he did that book, The World's Biggest Cash Machine. And I think that United Stan Beth did a report about this morning as well. But the claim that the Qatari continues to be keen on purchasing the club at some stage in the future. So they never kind of backed off. They're sitting and observing, and they were sitting pretty pissed off that, they had a verbal agreement and all of a sudden they changed shift like that. Anyway, so I don't want to put more speculations into it. We know when it's real, when the time comes. But my personal preference is that I never wanted, Ineos, but since they're here, since they're putting in this footballing operation, best in class people, what they say, we're stuck with it. But we would never be in this situation if, Qatar took over the full, including the debt and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And this is what we need. We needed a situation where Qatar would have came in and took over, clear the debt and give us a platform to rebuild this dynasty. Yeah. And no, I'm not saying that it might not have mistakes have happened, but they would not have been increasing ticket prices. They would not have cut the charities and make excuses that they didn't know that the charities was cut. They're not going on. They're not going. You're not going. Would have been not been having food poisoning situations going on at Man United this season. You would not have had problems with all sorts of things, rat infestation. We had all these reports. We would have if they had sacked Ten Hag, they would have had money in January to invest in Amorim because he's a different system with a different formation and he
I just can't believe you're a billionaire. You're worth about 17 billion on your personal wealth. Not to
he's
take
a Man
people.
United fan too, supposedly.
Apparently, yeah, he was bidding for Chelsea. Apparently. Yeah.
Mick,
it's all for the money.
He's
a
Man United fan. Let me be honest there. If you and I was a Man United fan, and people might say we just saying this there, but if you have 30% in a club, you can't sign a contract with the other 70% stating if you invest 500 million, yeah, to bring in players or $1 billion again of your money to bring in players and facilitate transfers and things for the next 2-3 seasons, that the success you will be able to earn a more lucrative return on the success returns in the next 5 seasons or 10 seasons. Well, as a repayment for that gesture. These are things that could have been done. There are creative ways that, behind closed doors, they could negotiate among shareholders and make money and funds available. This excuse that he cannot actually invest money because he has not invested $1. Yeah, he's bought shares from the Glazers. That is not an investment in Manchester United. That is purchasing percentage of stake in a company from the owner of the company. That was not money. And people run up and down talking about he invested. He invested nothing. Yeah, the plain and simple equalization to what that money transpired and where
he claims that if I didn't pump in money in December, we will have been broke. That's what he said.
That's not true. If he didn't pump in money, the Glazers would have sold to someone. Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe they might have sold to Qatar. We would have been free of
exactly.
We would have been free of the Glazers. Could you imagine that?
He was, I think he had it hard on to just have a piece of Man United. That's what I think. If he was a true fan, he was to just back away because his dream was to own a Premier League club, right?
Yeah.
But here we are.
Buy someone else. No, because realistically, when you use the line as a fan, a lifelong fan, that means you will do things above and beyond the business acumen because he's a fan, you're in love. Yeah. And if I was a billionaire above business acumen, I would invest more money into the club.
But the problem is that the problem I have is he's getting hands-on involved in the way we should play and the way we should recruit. But the guy clearly doesn't have any footballing IQ or footballing vision. He claims that he's a Man United fan. We started to see him as soon as he got a stake. Other than that, the guy talks absolutely gobshite in terms of football. And now he's coming out to say oh, remember they said, we're not going to buy the next Mbappe. That's a stingy motherfucker. You know what I mean? We're just going to find the upcoming and develop it. And I'm saying, since when did Manchester United develop players? Who was the last one we developed? You know, Rashford has been in the club as a youthful talent, was never developed, stagnated. Garnacho was run ragged, never developed. Nobody's been developed, Mark, in certain ways.
100%.
Yeah, your camera disappeared. However, to continue with this story, saying that the Qatari bid was very, very real, genuinely real, Blackhurst explained. I still think there could be still interest from there. They have not gone away. That is what kept being told. That is what I kept being told, what Blackhurst says. As long as United remain the biggest club and that depends on the reach and the social media reach and the sponsors deals. So that's what he's saying, Blackhurst. And that this is the author that wrote that famous book, The World's Biggest Cash Machine, right? So apparently what he's been told, he's got some connections. I mean, he's a serious, respected author as well. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just applying it. I'm looking at it like, you know, is it possible? Well, yes, the only way it's possible is when this 18 months clause expires, that, you know, either somebody can come in and bid to do a full takeover. You're looking at the finances. Both Ratcliffe and the Glazers can profit massively, you know. The valuation could be 9 million, 8 billion, sorry. You know, anything is possible. But at the moment, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting because, as I say, but from one thing to the next with this club currently, yeah, from one point of these some terrible decisions in the summer, in my honest opinion, now when I look back at it, all things considered, because let's
it's
be
horrible.
honest, you know, if you know you're going to sack the manager, why spend 200 million on his players? And then you bring in a manager and you don't support him with players, with no funding. Yeah,
Well,
it just seems to me that they don't have a clue. You know, this structure that was supposed to be best in class, seemingly like they might not be close to best in class. Maybe Dan
I
Ashworth
think it's
was
too.
best in class. Maybe
Yeah,
I was wrong about Ashworth. You know, maybe he was the best in class and everybody else is questionable. I don't.
I think there's a friction between ownership, what I've been hearing, what Ratcliffe wants and what the Glazer wants, right? So there's a friction, definitely. There's a vision friction as well, and there's a cultural toxic environment that's keeps trickling down. Like, especially when you've done your strategic review, you sacked half of the workforce and you cancel Christmas dinners and everything. What do you think? You know, why are we not performing this Premier League season? Why are we didn't back him in the January? Yeah, we gave him something cheap, Patrick Dogon development wing back, and a 1 million signing in Aid in Heaven, a centre back, right? So, and plus the club was so desperate to save money, so they loaned out Rashford to Aston Villa. They loaned out Anthony. As well. Yeah, and they didn't replacement. And then we sort of looking at why we're not scoring goals. Really? So is that Ruben Amorim's fault? No, it's the bloody people above, you know. But that's never gets spoken in the media. You know, it's so trendy to sort of point your finger on the manager to say it's your fault. It's your fault.
But you know, we lacking goals, Mick, and we sold a guy who has contributed 34.
Yeah, but are you freaking serious? Where is the standards? Like, you know, if you're sitting there on the stand, you know, you have Omar Barada sitting there watching game by game. You have Wilcox watching game by game. You have Ratcliffe, and you have that Dale Brailsford sitting there watching. You got to fucking see that this, we need no P-platers. We need a killer that can finish the dinner. And there you have Ruben Amorim. There was one player that he wanted to bring, and that was Gyökeres. What are you thinking about? You have a release clause on 64 million. This is a world beater.
Gentleman's agreement.
A gentleman's agreement. What are you thinking about? No, Wilcox. I want Delap because he can be something. He can be the next Gyökeres. And you, Ruben, you can develop him to be Gyökeres. Now piss off. Seriously.
Listen, I don't know. This is the part where I'm confused. Because you're promising the fans trophies, but you're giving the fans a squad that's not going to compete for trophies. Well, maybe not in the Prem.
Well,
they might compete in the Cups, but they're not going to beat the Prem.
I have a theory. I have a theory like that. But anyway, let's not forget the people tuning in. We have Bloody hell. We have a lot of people tuning in.
Hey,
Irfan, we
fan.
forgot about it. Big up. The only way Man United can come back on the top is Qatari, 100%. We have Robert in. Mark is in the house as well. Gifted 5 memberships, mate. Oh my God. Big up, Mark.
Big up to those.
Thank you. The panelist gifted 5 memberships. And who became member? I don't know.
I can't see it because my camera disappeared, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys got gifted 5 membership from Mark. So anyway, give him a massive thank. Kenny Fan TV saying thank you, Mark. He got
Big up to
gifted.
Kenny. I think he got a membership as well. Yeah.
Yep. We have what else do we have? We have a lot of people tuning in. CH27, please buy us a shake. Jay Patel is in the house. Fred the Red's in the house. And Jamie Wayne is in the house. Danny B, Legends in the house. The great one. Thanks for the membership, he says as well. Can't just fucking do it, says Jamie.
Yo, Jamie.
Jamie.
I was calling out to you, bro.
Yeah.
I was calling out to you, bro.
Listen,
you made me out.
A lot of you guys that have been with us, have been following us, say best in shite, best in class. We can be critical in certain ways. We have the right as fans to be critical because we've been watching this shit, and we're getting more educated as a fans because I see just a small fraction point that doesn't have a footballing IQ and still wants Amorim sacked. But majority of the Man United fans, even they start singing his name, Ruben Amorim. They see what's going on, right? And this is what I like. Yesterday's press conference, when they asked about his song, he says, I don't deserve it for you to sing this song as of yet. And you know what I mean? To win next week means a lot for the club and for him. 100%. 100%. Guys, I'm just going to see the poll here because we did create a poll. And the poll was, do you still believe that there is a chance Sheikh Jassim could take over United? 56% of you says, yes, it's possible. 8%, perhaps. What if? And only 36% says, no way. No way. So that speaks volumes to what you think it's possible. Well, we can only speculate, but we can only follow this. And we can just apply that. We can look at the finances and say, we are screwed. And where's the money coming from the stadium? And the only way we can stay sustainable is that we keep selling academy players and make it to Champions League year in, year out and get 100 million every year. Other than that, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work on the current model. The current model is a minimalistic investment model. Minimalistic investment, maximum of profit, retention, I guess. But at the same time, that's not how you run football clubs. Football is expensive industry. Yeah, it's not that model industry that they could put a box model on it. Because if you notice, most of the clubs are trying to put a business model on football. They're all unsuccessful. They don't win things. What I mean, look at Liverpool. Liverpool spent 900 and something million during club tenure, and they talk about they was not a spending club. They was doing it on a. What would you say? A shoestring
no, but
budget?
now FSG are keen to do a back-to-back, so they're going aggressively after Frimpong, and the latest is also they are entering the race for Gyökeres.
Florian Wirtz.
Wirtz as well.
Yeah.
But I thought Wirtz was going to City.
Yeah, well, I hear Liverpool about to make a bid for Florian Wirtz. That's and we trying to buy Matthias Cunha and they buying Florian Wirtz. You tell me if that song's exciting to you. Liverpool just signed Frimpong, and we trying to sign who? Liam Delap. Frimpong better than Delap every day of the week. And he's a right wing back. Better on the wing, better in attack. I don't know, but it don't impress me.
I have a contradictory report regarding Gyökeres. Some people saying it's a done deal here. We go very soon, but some people saying, some Arsenal reporters are playing it down, that it's part of the list. And their priority is to go after no other than Newcastle, Alexander Isak. And they also have other strikers on the list. One player that we know, and the only reason why Man United have a sniff regarding Liam Delap is because Chelsea is now diverted to get, who else? Osimhen, because they were linked to Osimhen. They were trying to do the deal in January, so now that it's back on. So that means the Man United sees, that's a cheap one. We are the front runners.
Chelsea is also linked to a player who's wanting away from Madrid, who doesn't seem to be in Xavi Alonso's plans, Rodrigo.
Yeah,
And I
that's
don't know why
Rodrigo.
Man
Yeah.
United not all over that deal. We should have been signing Rodrigo and not looking to sign Cunha. I mean, I hear the Premier League proven thing, but
I
in terms
think
of quality and talent, Rodrigo is levels better than Cunha.
I think that
Levels.
is. I think it's starting to show that the idea and the influence of Wilcox is shining through. He's getting his willpower to get the Premier League proven. Right? There's no guarantee. I like Liam Delap. There's no doubt that I do like Liam Delap. Like, he's a potential. He's far better than Rasmus Højlund this season, in terms of his ability. But there's one thing that I am critical about Delap, that he's not a fox in a box kind of striker. He's more coming from the deep and driving with the ball. He's not so good at finishing with his head whatsoever. And that's why I made an argument that perhaps Man United are looking at two number 10s, and the fox in the box, the killer, will be a more experienced striker. And Delap will play either as the substitute number 9 or play behind the striker, because he can do that role as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you, Mick. I have not seen it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's having a breakout season this season. This is his best ever performance in professional football. He's been on loan twice, and he hasn't, mustered more than two goal contributions in 2 seasons prior. So all this about him being a winger, being a striker, well, he's been a striker this season, and that's where his goals have came from. As a winger, he's contributed nothing in professional football. So, in all fairness, if that is what we get, and I am grossly disappointed. I don't know how that is going to work out. I looking at it, he might have had a better season than Højlund this season, so people might say
I have a
he's better
vision.
than
I have
Højlund,
a vision. I have a vision that it might work. I mean, we are definitely getting Cunha. We are reports saying that Cunha, for me, will play more deeper as kind of an hybrid 8 and 10. He's the sort of ball carrier, right? I think that we are also looking at Delap as a secondary striker. If we win Champions League, it opens the door, and Ruben Amorim gets his wish to go for Gyökeres. Gyökeres has been reported that he's waiting. He's not going to make any decision until their league is finished and everything else, and then 100%. He's going to sort of think about it, right? So it's not a done deal to Arsenal. Arsenal is there pushing, but if Man United, apparently, according to Romano, according to what was it called? Florian Plettenberg, he said that Man United have always had conversations, but Victor Gyökeres has not given the green light to anyone as of yet. He's still waiting to finish. So what is it to say, if Man United win the Europa League and gets the Champions League money, what's this to say that we don't go for both Delap and Gyökeres?
I would say, what's the point of signing Delap if you're signing Gyökeres? There's no need.
Is it cheap?
We already have 2 strikers on the bench.
He's cheap.
What we buying him for? He's cheap. He's not worth. Who's cheap and worth it? Cherki.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. But the theory is, and what's reports saying, that Højlund is done at United. There are reports coming out seriously for him to go on a season alone with an option to buy to Italy, back to Atalanta or Juve, right? And that is kind of why Man United, I think, will look at it like to say, okay, what if we get a better version of Højlund and
who's
a
better
senior
version
striker?
of Højlund?
Delap.
That is madness. In 2 seasons, right? I just want to say this. In 2 seasons, one score 40 goals. The next one have 15 goals, 14 goal contributions in 2 years of football.
Delap.
Same amount of games. One have like 2 times.
In
a poor season and still have 1 less goal this season than the guy we just saying better than him. I just saying.
Okay, well, anyway, we don't know. Everyone is speculating. We're just sort of applying potentials. Like, I see my vision that could happen. But anyway, one thing what we're going to talk about, transition over. Before we do, we have a super chat. Big up. We're going to honor this super chat. HC on 88 Pro. donated £2. Big up to you, HT on
Big up
Pro.
the Hayden
How you
Pro.
doing? How you doing? We have Stephanie in the Griffith in the house saying, big up Mick, M&M reunion. It's been a while, 100%.
Big up, Steph.
Overhead Kick TV says big ups. I'm just going to go to the chat. And thanks for the memberships, Mark, as well.
Big up to Overhead Kick.
Neo Lesso is in the house. Big up Neo Lesso. I think the end is near, folks. We've seen this happen too many times. He will run out of ideas on how to cut costs and sack enough people. Yeah, you know, how long is a piece of string? That's the thing. You're talking about Ratcliffe. So Lesso, you are right. You know, the end is near, right? You kick the can as far as you can. If you don't yourself, reportedly selling OG knees and pumping more money, you know, that's the only option you can get to acquire more Class B shares. But there is a special clause that's saying that, you know, come after 18 months, that bid will be open. He has the refusal right, so he can actually bid more, 100%. So it's going to be interesting to see where it's going to happen. Triple N is saying Ratcliffe will sell his share eventually if the regeneration project doesn't go through. That regeneration project, Triple M, is a phantom, right? I think it came off the back of the net just to release it quickly. They have the architecture plans, they have everything, they have council, they have the greater general, everything is there, but they don't even know where the funds is coming from. Nobody's, you know, nobody really knows. That's why they're delaying it to say, well, it's maybe in 6 years we'll start building it. So everyone knows that the stadium is rotten, right? And what are you going to do still? The problem is still there. Old Trafford is still there. It's rottening, right? The leaks are still there. It's not, hasn't been fixed. Same, yeah? Anyway, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. So sorry. Red Devils United, big up Richie's in the house as well. We have legends in the house. Trying to catch up the chat. Thomas Swedginess saying, why would Gyökeres sell when Sir Jim Ratcliffe gave them the reason to stay for at least another decade? Yeah. Anyway, let's transition further down the stories. I would love to read in everyone. We have another super chat coming in here. We've got to honor the super chat. It's coming in from Navid Khan. Navid Khan saying, as you can read this, Mark.
As a fan, would you rather lose to Tottenham in the final to construct the Glazers more financially, to force them to sell later on?
Fuck me.
Bro, let me see my bit on this. As a fan, bro, you see this beard, bro? If that happens, right, it will be for the greater good, but this will turn gray. I'm pretty sure you will have to have some hair turn gray as well, because what we will see and experience, bro. You're talking about flirting with administration, bro. That's what you're talking about right now. And flirting with administration could potentially cost Man United the name Manchester United Football Club. And for that one thing, that one single thing, I would say no. Just me, bro, as a fan.
Let me address the super chat, Navid, as well. Dude, that is just choosing between a death penalty. Like, you know, would you like to have the gallows or do you want to have the lethal injection, right? Impossible, mate. As a fan, I always want us to win. You know, if we get Champions League and 100 million, that means that we can improve the squad so we don't have to suffer anymore. We've been suffering with Ruben Amorim, and he was honest. He was honest when he walked in and did his first press conference. He stared at the barrel of the gun and say, we will suffer. And God, we have been suffering. But more important is that 20 years under the Glazers, we suffered enough. Right. I believe that sooner or later the Glazers will be gone, and I believe that something's going to happen. I believe that Ruben Amorim is the man to lead us. You know, maybe he's too young and experienced, but winning this trophy next week will mean a lot for him and the confidence of the players. So losing to Tottenham 4th time this season, I'm with Mark. I would totally check myself into the mental hospital because this team has been killing me. So thank you, Navid. I hope that answers your question. And thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you. Guys, we are stuck into the mic. Oh, Alien Tenno is in the house. Big up, Alien. We have legends tuning in. Big up, Peter. How you doing? We have Peter. Richie also. Richie saying zero chance.
I could tell all you know that question of losing to Spurs is done because Peter will be there. And if me and Peter, if me or Peter or me and Peter in live in person watching United, we go in.
Mark, we have another super chat that I want you to read. And
big up to my boy Bali Tech. This is Bali Tech.
This is
Get
Bali Tech.
Rasmus Højlund out of my club. Big up to you, broski. I know he has been upsetting you, but yeah, bro. I'm not saying he should be a mainstay. Yeah. But I'm saying we have more to do with 30 million than buy another striker to lose money on a next striker. So realistically, if Liam Delap comes in next season and if he flops and then flops the following season, we would have wasted 30 million. And if Rasmus improves and improves and improves, and then what will it be?
Well, apparently, Richie saying from Red Devil United that Højlund is linked to Fenerbahce today, and so is Jadon Sancho. We have Jose, hose me down, Jose.
Yeah, I heard that's when Fenerbahce is willing to pay 30 million euros for Jadon Sancho. 30 to 35 million euros or something like that, which is roughly 27 million pounds is what we was going to sell him to Chelsea for.
Listen, before we go in, I mean, there's so much, Mark. I take it. For me, 2 seasons, we know that Omar Barada has this 2 seasons threshold. If you're not performing second season, you're out. They obviously looked at it and said, oh my God, this guy has the ability, but according to me, not the mental ability. But on the other hand, if I flip the coin, he doesn't have, he looks down. He lost a yard of pace. He doesn't know how to position himself. Højlund. He doesn't know how to position himself.
Lose a yard of pace because Liam Delap is nowhere near quick as Højlund. That's what we could guarantee. He is way slower a striker. The problem with Højlund is this season, he had a very poor season out of, I wouldn't think. He come here to develop. When they bought him, they said he was a developmental signing. That was the announcement by the club. So
but hear me out. I'm playing the devil's advocate here. We always have a balanced approach. I wouldn't mind to keep Højlund if we get a Gyökeres in.
This is what we need.
This is exactly what we need.
We need to move on to the next story, but for me, we should the discussion this season, the first signing must be a lethal bagsman. Yeah, we shouldn't be discussing anything else other than the signing of a pure goal scorer. And that should be first priority on Man United list, because for the last 3 seasons, let's say 2, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, but for the last 2, we definitely needed a goal scorer.
Yep. Big up, people. So thank you. Don't forget, again, this is so important, YouTube algorithm, like. We're moving into the next story. And what is the next story? It's Ryan Cherki. This is what excites you, Mark, I guess. The story comes out today that Man United offered a golden chance to sign 31 gold A genius on cut price. Comes out that the agents of Ryan Cherki have reportedly offered the player services to Manchester United, who could be enticed by the opportunity to sign one of the most sought-after youngsters in Europe. Listen, Mark.
This is my player here, fellas. We've been talking about this guy. I've been championing this guy since January.
Attacking midfielder,
I know he will come in and he will fit that 10 role, left or right. He is both-footed. Very, very good. He can play off the wing as well. But he's a pure number 10. His best work is done in tight spaces, in the channels. Not only that, he has a brilliant eye. He has also 37 goal contributions this season. I want to repeat that. He is second only to Bruno Fernandes with goal contributions this season. Yeah, he has something like 12 goals and 17 assists. This guy is doing big things in the French league, and we have seen what he can do against us in Europa League.
Could he be a Bruno Fernandes replacement or understudy?
There's the understudy for sure. Replacement, I don't think that anyone could replace Bruno. If you have to replace Bruno, you need 2 to 3 players. You need him, Florian Wirtz, and you need Jamal Musiala just to replace one Bruno Fernandes.
He is an attacking midfielder. He's amphibious, meaning he's 2-footer. He burst into the scene at tender age of became a member of Lyon's squad only at the age of 16. So he's been playing since he's been 16 in the first team. Okay, so the story says that the Frenchman had his heights and lows, obviously. There's some Cherki is saying that he's worth, what is he worth about? How much is the cut price?
He had a 20 million euro release clause in January. And if they're selling at a cut price, means that we'll probably get him for something like 10 million pounds. I don't know.
Okay. According to Court Offside, United have the opportunity to sign the French midfielder as his agent gave his offer to services to Ineos. So the agent's been talking to Manchester United. Manchester United Evening News also reveals that the player could be available for just 19 million euros, thanks to an agreement between his entourage and Lyon. So they already made a gentleman's agreement that you can leave for 19 million. If I was Ineos, this is an Ineos deal, Mark.
That's 10 million pounds, Mick. We should sign him already. It should be
this
done.
Is a
Ratcliffe
should
be done.
This is just like, oh, it's cheap. Yeah.
There shouldn't be like it's cheap. There should be like medical tomorrow. Mick, medical tomorrow. Medical next week. Done deal. Fabrizio should be saying done deal. 10 million, 12 million, maximum 13 million pounds for Ryan Cherki. People in the chat, talk to me. If this club does not sign Ryan Cherki, something is wrong with this structure. Something is wrong with Ineos. And it's not a good thing. It's a terrible thing. 13 million pounds. Ryan Cherki. We need a number 10. Someone to create goals. The biggest thing, everyone talking about someone who could run with the ball, carry the ball, drive the ball. We need someone who can create against these bottom teams that have a low block. We lack creation in those times. You don't need somebody to carry the ball because we're going to carry it through into a wall of 12 or 6, 10 men. No, we need someone to create and lock that defense. Yeah, and this youth man, we've seen what he could do.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think that United should be all over this deal. Definitely, you have a Cunha to the left, Cherki to the right. All of a sudden, it changes the whole dynamic. You have all of a sudden two. We have two ball carriers, 100%. I created a poll, guys, for you to get involved. Would you sign Ryan Cherki for 19 million euros? I think it's a steal, mate.
That's like 15 maximum. And I see Danny B saying installments, bro. Who will pay it? Who want to pay 11, 12 million pounds on installments, bro? What? And you're going to spend 60 on Cunha.
But
make that make sense.
Why did they? Are they desperate? Are they broke? Are they? Yes, they are in financial crisis.
They're in a financial crisis, Tenno, and what happened is that the agent negotiated a deal, and the deal has a certain time frame. I believe is up. It ends in this summer window at a certain point. Yeah, and they don't want the club to slap a gigantic price on the player, and he's forced to go to the highest bidder. You know what I mean? Now we could sit here and say it's a red flag. But we're not talking about red flags when it comes to Cunha. After 5 seasons in international in top flight football, is the first season he got about 15 goal contributions. This is his first season playing as a number 10. He used to play as a striker at Atletico Madrid and Sevilla. So, I would love to buy Xavi Simons 10. Or me and you, we know.
I would love to see him, but
he's available. I don't know if Mick know, but the story just broke recently that Xavi Simons has put in a transfer request at Leipzig. He is ready to leave.
He's ready to move. He's ready to pounce.
It will be a complicated deal to do, but it definitely cuts his price down at least 30 million euros. So at maximum, it will be something like 40 to 45. Maybe if they push, they might ask for 50. But Xavi Simons is another player that I think is a player we should be going for ahead of Matthias Cunha. People might be mad at me that I'm saying this, but the quality of Xavi Simons is leagues above Cunha. We've seen his performances. We've seen what he could do. Yeah, and he's younger. He's more mobile. He has better ability on the ball. He's take better free kicks. And he's not just a player who could drive with the ball. He can create as well. So I don't know. I'm more into the creative side of things. I would have done a deal for Cherki this week. They offer me 19. I would have paid this week. Yeah. And then I would have go and do a deal for another player because I rather spend 60, 70 million pounds and get 3 players that I know can do more than 1 player for 60 million pounds. And people might be mad at that, but in my honest opinion, Cherki and this guy Xavi Simons together are going to cost probably 40 million pounds or 50
Okay,
million
let me
pounds.
play the devil's advocate. So if you had the option between Cherki, either you can side Cherki or Xavi Simmons.
Bosh.
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 Got you there, mate.
I don't know. I think I would sign Cherki because he's a cheap deal, and I'd hope that if I sell Rashford, I could take the 20 million from there and finance as Xavi Simmons deal late in
Yeah,
the
but
window.
we've been linked to Xavi Simmons for at least 3 seasons now, right? At least 3 seasons, and that was under Erik ten Hag. Maybe Ruben Amorim don't see him fitting the system. Maybe he's
Maybe not.
Same with Frimpong as well. Like Frimpong is like going to Liverpool, according to Jamie Wayne as well, for less than 30 million. And we've been linked to Frimpong for ages.
I mean, I think Jason Wilcox and them. I don't think, I don't know what it is they're doing, but I'm not going to overly criticize Dorgu, but I mean, the price that they paying for Frimpong, we paid for Dorgu. And I wanted to understand the difference in that. Yeah. That is different. That is some different gravy type stuff. You know what I mean? And Alvaro Fernandez would have been half that price. It's really actually quarter the price because, Benfica paid us £8 million, 8 million for him, and they were selling him back to us for 16.5. So we'd have really be spending about 9 million because they gave us money for him. So I don't know. Whatever their plan is, hopefully it's aligned with what Amorim wants. This is why I'm so adamant that
it's going to be a massive summer. It's going to be a massive summer.
It only will be a massive summer if we win Europa League, and that is the catch-22 that no one is talking about. Everyone's talking about a massive summer, but a massive summer.
The elephant in the room. All eyes on Ineos will be if we win Europa League. All eyes on Ineos because they've been depriving the fans from joy, finishing 16th in the league. You got the money now. If we win next week, which I believe we will anyway, I will tell you why later on. But that doesn't stop them to go and fucking back this team and go back to getting top 4 next season. Because getting top 4 next season means that you get 100 million every year guaranteed money being in Champions League.
You see, that part make I feel like let's not run when we now starting to walk. Yeah. Like I would love to see we get in top 4 next season. I think I would wait until I see what they do with the transfers and thing, and then I might feel like that. But if we could get anywhere between 1st and 8th next season, yeah, I would be comfortable. I think okay because that would show steady progression. It would show great improvement. If we're playing good football, cool.
But I agree with Triple here. Like, they would do bits with Frimpong, but I think that United is looking at, okay, we have the emergence of Amad Diallo, which I think they will stop playing as a right wing back, and Diego Donkey Dalot, right? So they're looking at, they're stuck in that position, right? But we need to get a better left wing back, in my opinion. And then leads to the next story, which saddens me. But in a way, the Real Madrid are looking to bid for Alvaro Fernandez this summer, which is serious. They are really, really in for him, right? And that means the Man United are looking at it. They have a 50% sell-on fee. So there's money that coming in. I just say, look, I think there was like a 60 million buyback. And he's been doing madness. I said... we were staring at the problem.
The problem with that deal, Mick, is that Benfica wants 65 million euros for Alvaro Fernandez from Real Madrid, and Real Madrid doesn't want to pay that money.
They never want.
Real Madrid has said to Man United, you buy back the player, and then we will give you 40 million for the player. So
Stingy
I don't know.
Bastards.
Maybe United will buy him back and then they will sell him for Real Madrid to 40 million, and they will make the 30 million that they was going to make either way.
They have money. They fucking have money, but they don't like to spend it. They like to do this. Run down your contract, come for free.
They'd already signed Houston, the youngster. They signed him from his Bournemouth or wherever it is he was.
Yeah,
they signed him.
Top quality player.
He's done. It's a done deal. He's already in the kit. And I think, we should take a page out of Madrid book. Madrid right now, they're doing quality deals for low cost. They're not looking at anything above 40 and 50 million.
Yeah, they're backing in Javi Alonso 100%, the new manager.
So
New
for
managers come
me,
in, new spendings.
exactly. So for me, we should be doing the same thing. We should go and get Alvaro in the summer in January. We should get Cherki. We should get this player, get that. We should be
Okay.
buying players that coming up to £60 million unless
Yeah.
it's Gyökeres, because that is
Yeah.
what we need.
Look, I'm going to answer the question that that I asked you. If you had to choose between Cherki or Xavi Simons, I look at the quality. Both have their ability. And I would say, fucking hell, 90 million for Cherki. Okay, he hasn't played in the Premier League, but he's broken out since he was 16 playing in first team football in Lyon. So I would take Cherki, I think, and utilize that money in elsewhere on the pitch, right? Like a goalkeeper. But what guys, you guys voted, we running a poll, would you sign Cherki for 90 million euros? And bloody hell, 79% of you said yes. Thank you for voting.
It's a done
Mark,
deal. I
it's a
mean,
done deal.
I was just looking at the comments and I saw someone said the reason why Cunha coming in is because he replacing Bruno. And if that is true, then I would probably tell everyone, why renew a season ticket next season? We are going to be
Yes,
shit.
Don. That was from Don Burton.
Yeah, we're
No,
going
I
to
don't
be
know.
shit.
He's not.
Like
No,
Matthias
no,
Cunha could never replace Bruno. Like
never.
is
Nobody
this
can replace
the
Bruno.
thought of that defeats me. Whoever thinks that
There's one
I
player.
mean,
There's
I
one
know he
player that
said
can. There's one player that can replace Bruno in the future, and he plays at River Plate. We are linked to him.
Franco
It's that. Oh
Matsuotano.
yes, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I don't
Bring it
know.
on.
I think he's a different kind of midfielder, but he is very good. He is
Yes,
very,
sorry,
very good. Yeah,
brother. You're right. 8 million buyback for Alvaro
yeah.
Fernandez.
But at the same time, it's like right now we should be adding quality around Bruno so Bruno could pass on that footballing intelligence he have to young quality talent. You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird things for me. Is like we so hell bent on minusing from this squad, yeah, that
Mm.
we're not even considering that we need to add quality to what the quality that we actually have that will work better with the quality we have in the squad. And for me is always a change. Is always one in, one out, one in, one out. Is never 1+1. Yeah, because think about it like this: even if we buy Cunha, if Cunha get injured, who is there? If we was to sell Garnacho and sell this one and sell that one, and the players who come in and they get injured, who is left?
Hey,
We back
DJ,
to
do I
square
do I
one
look,
again.
bro? Do I look like Flex and UKG?
Probably not.
DJ Gee. Hit the like buttons, please. We have 700 watching and
Big
almost
up, Roddy
50 likes.
Johnson.
Let's get up to 100 likes on this stream. I know how difficult it is. You're stuck into this show and probably watching on your mobile device. But there's one thing that we don't ask you to super chat. We don't ask you to donate memberships. But if you do, it's just a plus for us. But in order for YouTube, it's a funny algorithm thing. It's all about the like
you gotta
buttons.
smash the likes for your
Smash
boys.
the like button. Can we get up to 100 likes on this stream for M&Ms? Big up for all of you. Hit the like button.
You're watching. If you're watching on the MUFC Release channel, smash a like. And if you aren't subscribed, do that now. If you're watching on my channel, Mark and MUFC fan, smash a like.
Another story I want to dive into as well. So we've spoken about the plus. I say that Matthias Cunha. What I'm hearing, Matthias Cunha, the deal is already personal terms agreed. Matthias Cunha and his agent. They already sort of was a report coming up from Brazil that I knew about as well, that Man United have offered 5 million extra on top of that with installments. We knew that will happen. It is just when they're going to announce it. Some people think after the Europa League final. I say that the transfer window doesn't really open until the 1st of June. So technically speaking, you're not allowed to announce transfers until the transfer window is open. That's the rules, right? So I don't know why people are saying it's going to come, here we go, before the transfer window opens. You know what I mean? So I think it will be like, when the transfer window is open, it's going to be sign, seal, deliver, and bosh, bash, bosh, right? Everything else doesn't make sense because you have FIFA rules and regulations. But I'm going to talk about another story, sources from Italy. And this is my friend Alfredo Pedula has been speaking about Edison. There is a genuine bloody interest of Man United. There's been talks going on with Edison. Atalanta, we know it's a hard bargain. We have Lee Congerton, the sporting director. They pulled the pants down for Rasmus Højlund. But they're saying something in the range of 40 to 50 million for Edison. And is there a play that you want at Man United as one of the midfield options?
Of course, like, Mick, I am all for squad depth. We need, I mean, I like Ugarte. He's very good. I wanted him last summer. I've championed him. He came here. I think he's having a good season. Think he could have done better in some moments, but I do expect him to continue to improve as he continues to play for Man United. But he cannot play every game, and so can Casemiro. Casemiro might be the one to lead us in Europe, but he might not be the guy to be leading us in the Premier League. Maybe he could come in certain games and lead.
Yeah, but this is an expensive. That's an expensive bench. It's got 1 year left after next season. If we qualify into the Champions League, yeah, Casemiro as a leader coming on and playing more games in Champions League. But to get the best out of Casemiro, he's like
of Edison.
Yeah, listen, Casemiro is like a racehorse. You can't run him cold, but the more he warms up and gets sweaty, the better he gets. So he needs game time.
I mean, like I wouldn't mind if Casemiro was in charge of the cups, and we had like Ugarte and Edison fighting for Premier League next season starting positions. I think that gives us massive depth, and they could play together. We would have options in the midfield. They could play Bruno with the two of them, with any one of the two of them. You know what I mean? So you have different options that they could do in the midfield, and I think that is something we need. We also need to get left. We have Diego Leone coming in. He will be arriving in the next few weeks, as expected, as he should. And the one thing is that where he is going to land is he going to come straight into the first team? We know.
Or will he go out for loan, or
will he go out on loan? Will he play in the under-21s for half of the season? We don't know.
Yeah.
But it is. We need things, and I think the focus should be on striker.
I see there's a divide within that leadership group, and I clearly see that the international talents, it's got Vivell written all over it. Vivell is looking at Cherki. Vivell is looking at this up-and-coming gems from international. When you have Jason Wilcox is saying, nah, we want English players. There's a genuine link for Crystal Palace's Wharton. I like Wharton. I fucking like Wharton. But again, that's going to be like 60, 70 million pounds, right?
Yeah, it would be expensive. It's 100 million pounds.
If you compare, like I created just a poll, guys. Like, if you had one signing for that midfield position, who would you choose? Edison or Wharton? Mark, floor is yours.
I mean, I don't know. I would choose Edison purely because I think in terms of quality, then they're very close together. I mean, I would even consider Reinders, the Dutchman who plays at AC Milan, like Jamie is talking about. He's a very interesting player in the DM position. He gets forward as well. He's clinical when in front of goal as well. He's a player that can do a lot. But I think Wharton would be the dream signing for that DM role. He's a forward passer. I've been told that he does everything in a forward motion.
Yeah.
I think he's I was told he's an incisive passer of the ball by my friend Hayden Pro, by the way. And I would say that, he's a player that I've seen, and I would say that he's been better this season than he was last season. And for a young player holding down a midfield role in the Premier League, of course, the Crystal Palace have not had the best season, but they're having a better season than they had last season. They're also in the finals of the FA Cup. And I think it would be interesting to have him in Man United, but at 100 million, it's a ridiculous price.
100 million?
100 million is what they want.
I think it's clear and obvious that Wilcox sitting there, he knows the Champions League, the Championship and the Premier League. He's got that eye for talent. He sees the data. We don't have data, but Wilcox's eye sees the data, right? So everyone is trusting on his, and they say we're going for Wharton. We are linked to Bueno and all these English Premier League players. And on the other hand, you have the recommendation from the head of the recruitment, Vivell, to say, no. You can get the similar profile, but no Premier League proven. Edison for 50, 60, you know, which one would you choose? I'd go like bloody hell, right?
Yeah,
As long as it's but who is Premier League proven? Like, you know, everyone that comes in there from foreign countries, they become Premier League proven, right? So Bruno wasn't Premier League proven. You hit the ground running from day one.
exactly. I mean, we all sitting here talking about Premier League proven. It was more of a thing 5, 10 years ago. This thing Premier League proven, yeah. I think Premier League proven is an excuse for clubs to sell Premier League players more expensive than players in Europe. I think
Yeah,
that's a
but this
waste
is
of time.
ridiculous. You
I
know,
think
even yeah.
until they work on actual real value for players is a waste of time. And I think it would be bad because there are some very interesting talents in the Prem in different clubs, and I think they're worth taking a chance on. But for me, yeah, with people talking about Matthias Cunha, he has 24 goal contributions this season, and it's like, yeah, that's good, but at the same time, is that worth 60 million? One season with 24 goal contributions, is that worth 60 million? I
Yeah,
don't
but
think so.
I have serious information that Arsenal's sporting director was trying really hard to hijack the deal, but Cunha told him straight no. He's a Man United fan. He only wants Man United. So I applaud
He's
that.
not a Man United fan, bro.
He is. He
Matthias
is.
Cunha, I'm gonna tell you something about Matthias Cunha, yeah? He is not a Man United fan. He was always a Chelsea fan. Yeah, he said that in his interview when he signed for Atletico Madrid. So if he want to say no, he's a fan, even no self, I don't want to sign him for Man United because that is a blatant lie.
Okay, I heard
Yeah.
something different that he's a Man United fan. He's in love with the
Uh-huh.
project. And if you're in love with the
He could be in
project,
love with the project, that's different, but he's not a Man United fan because he said
but
it.
he's not in love with the money, and that's the thing. That's what I
He's
want.
definitely in love with the money. He's on
Yeah,
what,
but
20K
okay,
a week at Wolves? He go and get something like 150K a week at Man United. How could he not
definitely
be in love
better.
with that money?
But still, it's cheap, 150. Anyway, legendary moderator Stephanie Griffin say Wharton will not leave Palace. They have a good team and will be in Europe next season after beating Chiti in the cup final. Roy, I don't know where they're getting the 100 million from, and the same with this Tyler Diblin was also quoted 100 million. I just got do one, mate. Wharton is good, but if you look at the player profile, Wharton versus Edison, I go Edison, to be honest. I want to just check what the chat is saying. I want to see the poll as we created. If you had only one midfield option, who would you sign? 14% of you said Wharton, and 86% said Edison. That speaks volume. That means that you guys know football as well, what we're talking about, Mark. Are you agreeing with the poll is saying? Edison over Wharton?
You see, well, like I said, I would sign Edison based on price and based on his experience right now. But if Wharton was the same price, I would sign Wharton. I'm being honest.
Yeah. Okay, the Don is saying himself. The Don has spoken. Edison and I will be if we win Europa League. 100%. 100%. And that is the general consent when I spoke to Alfredo Padula, my friend. Everything depending on if Man United wins Europa League, the Champions League.
I've been telling everyone
Man,
this.
we go shopping in Harrods. We have all the key targets lined up already. We have a target list number A. That is if we win Europa League, and target list number B. They will spend money either way.
I told man this, yeah, but it gets better with target list A because instead of a Delap, we get a Gyökeres. Instead of Acuna, we get Cherki and Trincao, possibly, yeah,
And a new
because
goalkeeper.
and a new goalkeeper, which is I forget his name, something Garcia. But we will talk about him.
Jamie says, glad I didn't vote. Oh, Triple M is saying Man United were spending an ID. LD. Yeah, Tesco, so Poundlands. Listen, let's be serious. Let's be real. If we're going to talk about Europa League final before that, and then we're going to finish up with the outs. Let's finish off with the Europa League because that's the crescendo. The outs. There was some ridiculous reports saying that Man United and Xerxes out again. the Italian league wants him. Does it have to do with who we are linked to? We are looking for new number 10s.
I mean, it depends. Yeah. Like I already give my list, my choices for number 10. I have a whole host of choices that start and from 1 to 5, and that it don't include Matthias Cunha, because in my opinion, he's a good player. He's having a good season, yeah, but he's not a number 10. He does not create. Yeah, he doesn't have a vision for a pass in his body. You know what I mean? You're not going to get any long passes, true balls, incisive passes from this brother. You will get him running up the field with the ball. And if that's where you
Obviously,
want,
he's
cool.
the Ruben
You know,
signing, so Ruben has
I
something
wouldn't say
in
that.
mind.
I've never seen a player like him in Sporting, and he's not like no player in Sporting currently.
We
They're
don't
all
know.
good. They all actually have vision on the ball, and they can play a pass. You know,
Bloody hell! After this season, I just go like, give me better players, and definitely, I think that he's a good player. I don't
he's
agree
a
with you, but
good
okay.
player, Mick. He's a good player, but he is not. If you let me be like put it like this, right? If Real Madrid wanted a 10 and Bayern Munich wanted a 10, we wanted a 10 and Juventus wanted a 10, they would not be looking for him. Yeah. They would not sign Cunha. He would not be on Real Madrid sign list.
Mhm.
And if he's not on Real Madrid list to sign, he shouldn't be on our list. Same thing with Delap. He shouldn't be there. Because Man City don't want him back.
Do
Man
you
City's going to
think,
buy
though?
a young striker instead of bringing back bringing back Delap.
Do you think? Can I ask you a question? Let's everyone get involved in the chat. Do you think, regardless if we make Champions League or not, that Liam Delap is serious the number 1 target?
If that is the case, Mick, it's a sad, sad, sad day for Man United. And I'm pretty sure the scouts were not suggesting that signing. It all is on Wilcox. Some people will blame the scouts for that. I will blame Wilcox.
100%. I think it's Wilcox. It's got a heart on. That's him pushing that. He's like, I know him. I nurtured him. I saw him grow up. Yeah.
We saw his
And so-
IQ with Dogu already. Yeah, I just say.
But I think that the pressure from the fans will be to do at least one marquee signing. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows that if we sign Liam Delap, there's no senior player above him that can develop him, that he can learn from a mentor, right? And the thing is that if we go on and speak about Højlund, yeah, of course, there was a report saying Jose Mourinho demands Fenerbahce to sign struggling Manchester United striker. But
No,
anyway,
they're demanding Jadon Sancho.
And Jadon Sancho. So thank you. We UK strains come in. Rashford and Sancho have no future at United, and we know that.
100%.
That is the problem that United are now dealing with. So, is it for real that Chelsea's been bloody mugging us off again? Right? They did a deal to say we'll take Jadon Sancho. We're with an obligation to buy, but the fucking clowns included a return. A penalty 5 million. It's like, who the fuck does that? So they basically utilize Jadon Sancho. If they make top 4, Jadon Sancho is a contributor. Thank you, Jadon. Thank you for the loan. Go back to Man United. We will pay 5 million instead of 25. Back to United again. Same fucking problem.
Freedom fighter getting freed again.
Yeah, freedom fighter. Yeah, anyway, so he's done at Premier League. He's done everywhere. His reputation is done. So for him to go to Turkish league must be a slap in the face as a footballer.
Yeah, I said the same thing about a certain player, and my brethren in the chat there, my brethren Bali Tech would be upset if I call his name. Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
But
yeah. Anyway, Wolves is in the house. Big up to you. Triple M is saying Wolves, big up, brother. No Delap. A lot of people saying no Delap, no Delap, no Delap, and I agree. Anyway, freedom to Turkey. Freedom to Turkey. What Triple M is saying. Freedom to Turkey.
I mean, as long as they pay the money, he can go anywhere he wants to. As long as we get money, you know what I mean?
Regarding Rashford, though, there was some reports saying that Yamil Yamal is endorsing the Rashford move, and it's more likely that he wants Barcelona again. Will Barcelona find the money?
Where they get any money from? Is the first thing we need to find out. You know what I mean? Like, where are they getting money to sign Rashford? I mean, as long as as long as we get 40, 50 million pounds, I do not care where Rashford goes.
Look, let's address the elephant in the room. Jamie is so right. Like, it's gone silence against City. They are going spending money. Yeah. And
But they
everyone
won
knows
the
that.
case. They won the
What?
case. City won their case. I don't know what man them still asking. City won the
But has it
case
been
against the
announced that
Premier
they
League.
won the case?
I don't know, but I know that they're spending money.
No,
They
no,
paid
they
the
all
Premier
won a
League.
part. They won a little bit, but there's probably waiting for the Premier League to finish, and they will. Man, you reckon that City is just lawyered up and paid them under the table, walked away? That would be a far cry, mate. Like 115 charges.
Hey, money talks, You know, at the end of the day, money
Yeah.
talks.
Jamie Wayne saying paid off 100%. This the power. Like, we're talking about the top of the food chain pyramid. We're talking about richness, and we're talking about filthy rich, right? If you're a billionaire in Abu Dhabi, one of the wealthiest people in the world, you lawyered up. You have influence within the UK government. You peddling and all that stuff. 115 charges, man. 115. So why are they spending unless they know that they won the case, or you know what I mean? I don't know, man.
I don't know, bro. What I can say is that I'm
There needs to be
disappointed.
investigated. I mean, God, I
It
don't want to
was
be slapped with a
investigated.
ceased and desist letter from any of city lawyers. Sorry,
It
we're
was
just
already
speculating, people,
investigated.
but
It was
we're not
already
gonna mention.
investigated. It is what it is for that, bro. Like, we shouldn't, as Man United fans, whatever happened in City, it shouldn't care. We shouldn't care. Because regardless of what, don't move the needle. We are Manchester United. Who cares what City does? I don't care. You know what I mean? At this point, it's us against all the whole world. Yeah. And
Yeah, but
everybody, they're not
even
in our
even
favor, Mick. Mick,
look,
no
I
matter
think
what
that
we do, if it was us in the situation, we would be charged. Yeah. We would be charged. Look at the referees this season. How many did the players, Man United players, they tell get up after they've been fouled in the penalty box? And if you mash a player big towards wearing a red kit,
yeah,
penalty, instant
yeah.
point to the spot. Come on, Mick. You know what I mean?
Look, we can only speculate. Like, we can sort of imagine that there is the big brown paper envelope floating around, right? Regarding the PGML and the Premier League. And of course, Jamie Wayne says Premier League are cowards. They didn't even stop the Glazers to getting us on a leverage, which is absolutely right. That's criminal. That is criminal. So they're equally accountable.
Yeah. I see Madhouse asking more question there. Madhouse, let me tell you something, bro, right? I'm not one of those guys that just, watch highlights and say this player is this player. But here the reason why I'm more adamant that Gyökeres is the right striker. See, cause that fella Ruben Amorim coach him to do everything that he did. All his goal exploits now is really Ruben Amorim's system and coaching that really, brought the best out of him. I'm not saying he didn't put in the effort and work hard to get the job done, but he got the coaching and the advice from Ruben. And I think he would be coming into a team where he is the senior, he's the big man in the business, and all will have to go through him. And we are missing a striker like that. Yeah. We need a striker that could be that focal point. We don't play that kind of we don't play the hurricane type striker. We need a striker who could receive the ball, a fizzling ball and on the run, in stride and work with it. Sometimes he will hold up play, but most times he will run the channel as well. And whoever is the developmental strikers behind him, be it Hoyland, be it Delap, be it Obi-Wan Kenobi, they will be there and they will learn. And that guy would be leading the way and painting a standard for them to chase to. So is what they should have done since last season. But thankfully, if they bring him in and Xerxes moves to the 10, I think it's a better situation for Xerxes and the team with a striker like Gyökeres and a player like Xerxes behind him, who creates a lot of chances, could carry the ball just as good, if not better than Cunha. He's a better dribbler than Cunha. We see the moves. Yeah, we've seen what he done to Saliba and these guys. So yeah, I think this is why I keep saying we need our bagsman, because we have guys who can create. Maybe need one more guy who could create, but we definitely need our Gyökeres bagsman.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, I agree. I mean, for me, it's I totally agree with what you're saying. For me, like, this is a player that already know the system. It's a plug and play. You know what I mean? He knows already Ruben Amorim's expectations. Ruben Amorim coached him. So for me, like, somebody that scored 50 plus goals 2 years in a row, and that is available on that price only for certain clubs in the release clause, only for certain clubs. Okay. This player would easily cost over 100 million. So this is a once in a lifetime to get the killer that can finish the dinner, that can sort of transfer this team to be in the top four, even challenge for the title, right?
100%.
He's got that mentality, right? So guys, get involved. Like, let me know. I certainly see this. This would be criminal if we win Europa League and get Champions League money. It would be criminal from the board above not even to go and try to get Gyökeres in to support Ruben Amorim. Just because, Wilcox is sitting there having a hard-on. He's been popping up a few Viagra. Got this, talent, hard-on for British talent. Like, oh, Liam Delap, right? Anyway, I want to create a poll.
Before
you
you
can
create
talk.
the poll, I just wanted to talk about this. Is a weird situation, but Man United have some scouting on the horizon. Far horizon, because recent reports suggest that, for the last 3 matches, two under 17 Portugal games, Man United scouts have been looking at young Ronaldo, who, as we know, has been
Yes.
playing for Portugal recently. So it's an interesting time. I would love to see the youngster come back to United. I've seen him stand next to Lamine Yamal. You would think that one is Cristiano Ronaldo's son and the other is actually Lamine Yamal, but based on physical appearance and body mass. But Lamine Yamal is actually smaller than him.
Well, how old is he?
14.
Cristiano Ronaldo probably looking at his development of his son, Mr. Junior, the prodigy. Who's got the best academy in the world at the moment?
Man United.
Yeah. We have this wonder kid, 14-year-old JJ, what's his name?
Gabriel.
JJ Gabriel. You getting him?
Samuel Lusale, it have young Shea Lacey, it have young Kai Rooney, the phenom, the goal scoring monster, they call him. The only young youth man under 17 to score 60 goals in a season.
Okay. We're going to finish off this show talking about the Europa League. And I created a poll. And the question is to you guys, what would you pick? Europa League trophy or UCL football Champions League? The same question, the same energy was asked by Ruben Amorim yesterday. Let's bring Ruben to the stage. What did he say? And then I want to hear each and everyone's opinion as well. Shit.
A trophy or...
Wait a minute.
What would be more important to you personally, winning a trophy or getting this club into the Champions League?
Personally, for me, I think Champions League is more important for everything to prepare the next season, and we are supposed to be in Champions League, and Europa League here is not enough, and you have that feeling here. The best way to help us to get in the top in a few years is Champions League, is not the title, is not the cup. So for me, Champions League is more important.
Guys, get involved in the poll. Get involved with the poll. I want to hear from you guys again, because I like what Ruben Amorim said here. The trophy is the trophy, yes. but the importance is to be in Champions League year after year.
True.
Mark?
I agree with that statement, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're not in the form or in the right mold to take on this league and compete for Champions League in a top four spot right now. I didn't see that this season, especially after we sacked Ten Hag. No bones to Amorim because he came into a situation that, I mean, his style of football is a whole different thing, and it was going to take a transition, and in this 5 months, we've seen a turnaround in the team, but little too late. At the same time, he used this season to implement his system.
But what
So
do
I
you
would
think?
say I expect a better season next season.
What do you think if you sort of picking his mind what he's saying here? I can give you my opinion because being in the Champions League, you're among the elite, so it's foster winning mentality. We should be there dining on the top, right? But also being in the Champions League means that you get money to 100 million every year.
Yep.
So he's right to say the trophy don't mean shit, but being in Champions
this trophy means everything,
a
because
lot.
this trophy means that we get Champions League. It means that we get 80 million from winning the Europa League. It means we get 100 million for participating in Champions League next season. So this trophy is worth something near 200 and something million pounds.
Yeah.
This trophy to Man United.
But winning the trophy and being Champions League mean jack shit. I agree what you're saying, Alien Tenor, because if you compete in the Champions League, you gotta have a squad. You gotta be having a chance to win Champions League. At this moment, we're not near. We will fall out.
I wouldn't say not near, but with this format, you see this new format. Maybe if it was the group stage format, but in Europe, United has done one thing: score an average of 2.89 goals over the past 2 seasons. Even though we got knocked out of Europe last season, we scored more goals than almost all Premier League clubs except Man City. I mean, if you look at these, this one team scored as much goals as Hoyland, which is Newcastle. Chelsea, I mean, Arsenal scored less goals than United, even though they went further in the tournament. I mean, I'm not saying that we're ready to win the Champions League, but I don't think we would not be competitive. I think we will compete. It would be difficult against big teams that are ready and have been there and improved as well next season. But I don't think we would be unable to compete in the Champions League. I just think that when it comes to this season, the Europa League, winning that trophy is the prime importance. It was more important than where we finish in the league, in my opinion, from the beginning of the season, because I didn't think we were getting top 4 this season, especially
apparently
apparently
the board has come out to say that they believe that we're going to finish top 6 next season, so they're confident in the summer window. That's the thing. But one thing is to get into Champions League and compete in Champions League, and this comes down to the support that he gets. So guys, do get involved in the poll, because we have about 5 minutes before we close the shop as well. Going out to Rick Bowler as well. Delap is a British mainstream media push sensation signing, and he's one-hit wonder. Guaranteed, if he was a foreign player, he wouldn't even get so much attention. Fact, Osman and Sesko all the way.
Yeah, but that's Rick, we'll go on to say, people talking about Hoyland this season. Hoyland scored more goals than him last season, and this season, I mean, Delap only playing Premier League, which means he only playing 1 game a week. Yeah, if Delap was playing 2-3 games a week within 48 hours at every single game all season, do you think he would even score 15 goals this season? I don't think so. I don't know if he might even score 10, because in the last 3 seasons he's been on loan, he barely has 7 goal contributions. So for me, he's not the most clinical goal scorer. And if he's playing multiple competitions, I don't know how it's going to go on him. I know.
Maybe as a technical director, you're sitting there, you are playing checkers and chess or whatever. You have your missing pieces, and you have this vision of the playing style married into Ruben's playing style, and you go with his vision and his data to say, well, if I put Cunha there, if I put a number 10 there and this there, this team will cook and score a lot of goals. But there's no
believe that.
I don't believe that.
If you take the creativity out of the attack, we're not going to score goals.
Yeah.
And you add 2 players who don't create nothing. Yeah, because both of them combined not even giving you 10 assists. Yeah. And in the last 3 seasons, both of them combined not even giving you 20 assists. So let me be honest. If you put them 2 brothers in attack, they will try to score goals. Our striker is going to be starved for service. So if we get Gyökeres, I don't see the point in buying Cunha at 10 like Cunha, because he's not going to supply Gyökeres with chances. He's going to try to score goals. And
Anyway, I'm afraid, people, we're going to the extra time now. We love a little bit of extra time in the finals, do we? Right? Do you mind? Usually I had the plan for 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we are 30 seconds away for closing shop. So we're going to the extra time because we need to discuss further down Europa League final. It is the big one, people. And Stephanie Griffith saying, Ruben need this first bit United silverware. This is the first trophy for him, like in a Europa trophy. Of course, he won in Portuguese league. He played in one final and been on the losing side. We saw the, press yesterday. But if he doesn't win, oh my fucking God. That's what you said. Are we getting gray hairs? I'll be switching off. The media will come up with the knives. Everyone's going to banter us. Spurs is shit at the moment. Spurs have no winning culture. United, in a way, we've been winning three trophies in 3 seasons, right?
In a way. For me, if
we have the winning mentality.
I honestly say when I say this statement, Mick, yeah. For God's sakes, for all intents and purposes, yeah, this trophy, the team must win for this manager, yeah, because if United does not win this trophy, yeah, then the structure, I could tell you 2 men who would have been proved that the structure was mad, was crazy. Dan Ashworth, is one. I just say.
Okay,
I will call the next one name.
Spurs are shit. I mean, we are shit, but they're dog shit at the moment. And Ange Postecoglou will get the sack. He knows it already. They're broken. Listen, if you look at this squad, Madison ain't gonna feature. He's gone. You have Kulusevski, gone, not gonna play. You have Son, question mark. You have Bergwall.
Son is playing.
Playing injured, yeah. An aging Son. Son of a bitch. He always turns up for United, right?
Exactly.
Solanke is firing blanks. I don't know. There's a question mark regarding him as well. They are a depleted squad, my friend, right? You look at Man United. We have majority of a squad. There's still question marks if Xerxes can participate. De Ligt might be available. The injury for Lene Euro is not as, bad as it was thought. He's back training by himself, doing gym works, so they're planning for him 100%. We have the experience, we have the know-how, and we're playing away. We're not playing in. We played in Bilbao before, so we will have more support from. We have a bigger fan base. I think that we have to win this. I can't stomach another bloody 4th loss against an Ange.
We're not losing our 4th time.
No. Listen, everyone was big enough, Big Ange, like Big Ange is the next thing. But now I'm calling him Ange Imposter Coglio, right?
No,
this guy's going to be walking. He's a dead man walking.
High line, mate. It's the high line.
The high line.
Yeah, the high line.
High line.
The high line.
If I have a high line, I just go to Turkey and do a hair transplant, right? Right.
Yeah. Put another shrimp off the barbie. Yeah. My accent sounds so terrible. But what I would say is, though, this final means a lot. A lot of people think that, while Spurs haven't won anything in my lifetime or in the last 15 years or whatever, probably, Man United, this trophy means a hell of a lot. It means, a possible in the horizon, hope for the transfer window. It means possibilities for the next season. It brings good vibes. The fans or the tickets have been sold out since the day we won the game. I just want to put that out there. Since the day we won the semi-final, the tickets have been sold out. Right now, tickets are selling for all kind of between $10,000 to $20,000 for a semi-final ticket for the Europa League, just to see Man United beat up Spurs. And this means everything to Man United. This is the season. This is what we are here for. This is what we wanted this season. You could see it on the players' faces. You could see it on their performances. We are chasing a piece of history as well. We are undefeated. Can we go all the way? Can we be invincible in Europe this season? That would definitely put a little bit of a chip on the shoulders on the team to go into next season, knowing that they were invincible in Europe this season. Maybe they could translate some of that into their form in the Premier League from next season. You know, clubs coming in would say, well, listen, in Europe, this manager is very good. This team is very good. You know, maybe they could do something next season in Europe. Of course, it will boost the team going into the Champions League. You know, they may not have been there this season, but after being invincible in Europe last season, who's to say we can't do something similar? You know, Champions League, Europa League. You know what I mean, we play some big teams in Europa League this season. You know, we played Porto. Porto is a very big team. They have 2 Champions League. You know, we played Lazio. Lazio is a big team. You know what I mean? So we play that team that going into Champions League next season in Spain as a top 3 team, Bilbao. So, you know, I mean, it's not something that to say, well, we haven't come up against teams that are Champions League quality and Champions League level. So I would say, yeah, it's very good. It's going to be interesting. Let's hope that we could do it. You know, Elian saying Hamad is the difference. I'm saying Bruno is going to be the controller of the game. You know, Hamad and all these guys, they will have their goals. Everyone needs to contribute. That is one day. I think I will predict a big scoreline, Mick. I think it's going to be ridiculously huge. But you know what? I think the team is going to bag a lot of goals in that final.
Yeah. We're about to close the shop, but Khalil comes in. If Nice wins the league game, they finish 4th, and United don't qualify for Champions League.
Yeah, 4 teams don't come out of France, bro. Only 3.
Yeah, only 3. That answers your question. Yeah, but that's what he's looking to. Apparently he's selling Nice as well. So anyway, guys, I just closed another poll and opened up another poll. So I'm just going to say exactly what Ruben was saying. The question to you was, you know, what is more important for you? Like, you know, what would you choose? Europa League trophy or Champions League? And you guys said 52% sent trophy instead of Champions League. So big up. Final poll, guys, final poll. And basically, who will win it? Who will win it?
6-2 Man United win. I'm saying it now. 6-2 Man United win.
Say it again with chest.
6-2 Man United will win the Europa League final. 6-2. Remember, I tell all you.
Crikey, mate, I'm going to win it. I need to win it. Otherwise, I'll walk the line. Yeah, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Fuck you. Fuck you, lady. You're giving me this sack,
mate. Plank, bro.
Walk the plank.
Yeah, you're going to walk the plank. It's going to be, you're going to get pushed off a pirate ship in the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Because Man United is going to win.
I'm going to sing Johnny Cash. I walk the line. Or I'm going to do a Zelensky. I sniff the line.
Big up to Elianteno. Good game, man. You'll never die. That's for sure.
Sorry about the YouTube algorithm. I did a political joy. Sniff the line. I walk the line. Yeah.
All right.
Listen, we will do a proper freaking preview come Monday. We will gas it up as much as we can. I freaking believe we're going to pump the bastards 3-1 to United, what I believe, because Onana, there's a freakish stat, which I don't want to jinx it. It's a freakish stat. Every single European final, Onana started in goal, they lost. Well, the tide turns.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. Joan Garcia is the guy's name. By the way, if you want to know the goalkeeper of Manchester Man United,
he's a brilliant, beautiful goalkeeper. I want him. John Garcia, what's the latest?
I cannot sit here and say that I know of the guy. Yeah,
Espanyol.
All I know is that is who we are looking at. He plays at Espanyol, as Mika said, but I don't know much about him. So, guys, I will have to do some research. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. But right now,
David, he's a De Gea in reincarnation, but better with his feet.
That's some serious props you're giving this young player here, bro.
Go watch Espanol.
I'll have to watch him. I think it's fun. You'll have 2 more games left for the season. Let's see. I'll see how it
Big
goes.
up Nile as well. Big up. Anyway, that's kind of wraps things up. It's been a long time coming, my dear Freund, and all the way in Germany. What's the excuse for you not streaming, my friend?
Bro, tall work is long. Work is long, guys. Hours is long. It's been stressful. I've been too busy. You know what I mean? So it's been that difficult situation for me this season. I didn't have much time after January, started a new job, and it's been a busy one. So hopefully now that my schedule is starting to, give more balance, I'll be able to bring you guys more live streams and be more consistent again. I know you guys missed me. I also missed you. And you'll see more of me. Of course, this is the summer, the transfer window is here, and as you can see, Mick is there. So the M&M show will be there as well, and your boy Marken will be live. So stay tuned. Look for the notifications, and
I
don't
put my
forget
hand
to
up,
keep
man.
smashing the likes.
Arbeits macht frei. Anyway, you're in Germany. Anyway, yes. Listen, my apologies for the community. I'm like you. I got a new RPO contract that I've been flat out with. It's consuming all my time. And by the way, I checked out since we're not in the Premier League, we're not challenging. It's, I was thinking, what's the point of doing the rinse, wash, repeat? You guys is following the channel. We don't do the sensational shit stuff. We don't, as soon as there's a headline, I don't jump on and do. I like to do this collectively, and I like to discuss with you, Mark, and I like to involve with you, community, and we will still continue to, it'll be a busy summer, and, looking forward to do the TransferMARKT show with you, Mark.
Yeah, we have lots to talk about. There's lots of interesting things. I've been telling everybody, it's the tale of 2 windows in one transfer summer. Yeah. Madhouse, I know you lying, bro. I know
He's
you
joking.
lying, bro. I know that, bro. You be one of those guys always in my stream, so I know you missed me, bro. Big up to you,
Anyway,
Madhouse in the building. But guys, there's very interesting. I'm not telling you guys the deals like Cunha and stuff are not valid. They're all interest. Man United will talk to players. They have 2 lists, as Mick said. They've spoken to all the players on both lists. Some might be easier deals to do than others. Some might be deals they would do if they don't get Champions League. Some might be deals that they do regardless if they get Champions League or not. And some will be deals that only could be done with the maneuverability that the funds from Champions League, like I said, guys, about £220 million will come into this club if we win the Europa League next weekend.
And that
week.
is, yeah.
And that is...
And then you add on the sell of Rashford, the sell of, the 50% sell-on fee for what we spoke about, that Alvaro Fernandez, XYZ. There's money to be made. And guys, just to round up the poll, who will win it? Who will win it? Well, the poll is saying 100% Man United. No, actually, 94% says Man United, and Spurs is 6%. So we do have some Spurs fans tuning in. Anyway, just to round, has to be. To round up what we've been talking about, it's been a heavy show today. It's been a very heavy show. Regarding the original Sheikh Jassim thing, was a report coming out that Man United takeover plans in place of Sheikh Jassim can be triggered a Sir Jim Ratcliffe exit. This is due to a clause in the agreement. He's got 18 months, and after that 18 months, there's a buyout on $32 per share and Class B shares. The finances are looking bad. There was another report saying that the author from the world's biggest cash machine, Chris Blackhurst, has also reported to say that Sheikh Jassim and the Qataris has always been there. The interest is still there if there's an opportunity. So that is what's been reported in the media. We've been applying our logic and reason to it. At the end of the day, this is just media. This is reports. This is what the transfer window are about. But as a community, we don't make the news. We just speculated on it. And that is what is a genuine fan community does. So big up everyone for tuning in. I just want to say, everyone, thank you for all the super chats and donations. Thank you, Mark, also for coming in and gifting 5 bombas of today. We're talking about 5 memberships from you as well. And also Fred the Red celebrating 16 months. as a
Big
member.
up to Fred the Red.
So Sam, I
And
just
big up
answer
to-
you. Yeah, I answer. We just summarize that. If you want to check out what we said, go back to the stream. You can always do the match of the day or stream of the day. And also big up whoever this mysterious donor is with the super chat here, super chat here. Navidos are coming with super chat as well. So guys, you are legends in the house. Legends. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's been Mick and it's been Mark. And of course, it's the M&M show. Big up to each and every one of you. If not for your support, we would not be here. Thank you so much.
We are back. And guess what? We're gone 15 minutes extra time. So there will not be a second half of the extra. We finish off for the first half because we scored a hat trick with Mark there as well. Big up, people. Thank you so much. And what do we say? Glory, glory, Manchester United. Let's do this. Let's get this trophy down over the line. And Mark, I'm looking forward. Are you free to do a massive big up show building up for the Europa League final? Are you going to be there, brother? Are you going to be there?
Bro. I'm supposed to be going there, but if I don't, I'll be there for the live. 100%.
If you don't, you'll be. Fucking donkey if you're not showing up, mate.
I'll be there,
you,
bro.
You walk the line, mate.
Send me the link.
You will walk the line, mate. You be there. You be walking the line like Ange Postecoglou, mate. All right, guys, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning in and see you to the next time. Have a lovely rest of your Thursday. Mark, as per usual, auch wieder Schnitzel. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Release TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.
Mark, what did you say the score prediction was?
6-1.
Oh, fuck off. Don't jinx it.
6-2, I
Oh,
say.
shit. End the show. 6-2.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.